Hi, I'm Pam Mashburn, and I'm with Explore HVAC and Home Services. Welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about reviews and how important they are. The name of this webinar is 5-Star Reputation Equals 5-Figure Revenue. And there's a reason, because revenue is directly tied to your reputation, and reviews are money. So I'm going to talk about 4 main areas today. One is just the whole trust building and why it's so important. I want to talk about platforms that you need to be thinking about getting reviews, especially AI as we're moving forward in the world. How to respond to those reviews, both the positive and the negatives, because no matter how hard we try, somebody gonna be unhappy. And then the fourth one is, how do we automate that review system? And the reason it's so important to automate those reviews is because you're always going to get that 1-star or that 2-star review. So we've got to have, at least a couple of 5 stars to always offset that. Actually, we probably need more than that. We probably need 4 or 5 stars to offset that 1 star. So it's really important that you are generating a lot of reviews and that they're 5-star ones. So let's get started. So trust is what we're calling the currency of modern marketing. So why is that? Well, one, homeowners trust referrals and reviews. They don't trust ads so much. That's just the world we live in. And we know that trust, those positive reviews, fuel so many things out there: SEO, Google, AI. So the more reviews that we get, the more of a growth engine you're going to be able to have. So if you can build this reputation engine, you're going to get consistent quality leads. So I always get asked, how many reviews do I need to have, especially for the smaller companies that are kind of small. I know this is going to be a shocker. It's not 22, it's not 50. Really, you need to have between 200 and 300. If you're in a mid-sized market, to be able to compete with these private equity firms and some of these firms that have been around for, decades, you're going to need 500 plus Google reviews. And if you're in a metro market, buddy, you got to make sure you're getting 1,000. So I know this takes time and it's a chicken and egg. So in the beginning, you're going to have to get some reviews from some family members. Don't tell Google, but some family members, some friends, to get that ball going. But every time you meet somebody and you do work for them, make sure they understand, I'm a small business. I live and die by reviews. If you could give me one, I would so appreciate it. But one of the realities is, the most reviews with the highest ratings are the ones that are going to get the most booked jobs. And that's what we're all here to do. So let's just talk a little bit about where is this reputation engine going to be important. Google obviously is the number one. I call it the behemoth monster out there. It is gobbling up reviews. It's gobbling up people that search. So they are really important. So that should be your number one. But as AI is coming on the scene, and 6 months ago, AI ChatGPT was about 1 to 3% of the searches. Now, and that's just like less than 6 months ago, it's at 12%. And if you're watching this webinar after we've recorded, it could even be higher than that. It's just going to continue growing. So where does AI look for this stuff? One area that they look is Yelp. Okay, so that's really important for us to understand, because Yelp is influential with Apple Map users, but it's also, I almost feel like it's a verb. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm so aggravated with so-and-so," somebody will say, "Well, go leave a Yelp review." And that's why it's so damaging, because if you go out and look at your Yelp reviews, of all my clients, I have one that maybe has 40 Yelp reviews. It's just not an area that we focus on. But this is an area that you can really start dominating. And why is that? Well, with Google reviews, they're so stringent about, they look at IP addresses, they look to see if they're real people, if they might have bought something or bought your services through LSA or SEM. But with Yelp, their criteria is not as stringent. So you can have family members, friends, you can have all kinds of people that leaving a Yelp review. The trick, though, is if they only leave a Yelp review for you, Yelp can say, yeah, this is somebody scamming the system. So make sure that these people that you ask also go out and perform a Yelp review for other businesses. So, what are some other ones? We've got some listed here. I know I get asked about like Home Advisors, Angie's List, Nextdoor. Those are really great for getting referrals and reviews from people in your local area. The problem with that, as far as AI and Google goes, is that they are, a walled platform. So they can't really easily access those reviews. So while they're important, they're probably not as important to AI in the future. Um, Another really great place is Facebook. There for a while, Facebook used to do the reviews with stars and that kind of thing, but now it's just really more of a recommend system. And I've got clients, they were really big on getting the Facebook reviews. And then around 2022, 2023, people stopped caring about those as much as they do Google reviews. So that's where, everybody started focusing. So start getting some of your followers on Facebook. Have a campaign where you get people to send you some love by recommending you on Facebook. So I got two left on here. One is Reddit. And that is a really interesting one because Reddit is just a forum. If you haven't been on it, you should check it out. It's a forum that where people discuss what's my air conditioning's making this noise. It's a lot of DIY people. It's people that are checking other people, other services, other companies. And so you want to be aware of what's going on out there. And one of the things that I'll tell you is that you can do a Google alert, or you can do a track Reddit alert. And you put your name in it, your company's name, any kind of variations of your company. And every time somebody mentions you, it will send you an alert. So then you can go out and see what was being said. If it's something great, yay, that's awesome. But if it's not, you want to make sure somebody on your staff is out there talking about, rebutting that or saying, but I had them, I didn't like them, they were too expensive. And then somebody else could go back out there on your staff and say, um, you know, um, they are so dependable. And if there's any kind of issue, they come out right away or whatever, you would want to say to kind of counteract that. So the way that you do those alerts, one is go to google.com/alerts. And you can do this for anything, actually. If something is out on the internet that has your name, you can do it for anything. But specifically, if something shows up on Reddit or in some different forums online, it'll let you know. And then if you want to just do Reddit, there's you go to track Reddit, and Reddit is spelled REDDIT. So trackreddit.com, and then you can enter in the things that you want to be alerted for. The last one on here is the Better Business Bureau. There's not a lot of reviews on there, and I think that that's a place where you could put a little bit of your focus. But I will also say it's really important that you take advantage of that free listing that the Better Business Bureau has, because that is a powerful link. It gives authority and credibility to your brand. So that's what I would tell you, is that marketing just got harder because you've got to make sure that you're in all kinds of different places all the time. But the main thing is, don't leave your reputation to chance. Cover every platform that your local customers are using. If your customers in your area don't really use Angie's List, then don't worry about that so much. But if they are on Facebook, the moms group is on Facebook, you want to make sure that you've got a Google alert so it shows up. Let's go to the next slide. So we've talked a little bit about AI-driven search, and that is, again, going to become more and more influential on our customers. One of the things that's going on is Gemini within Google. Google has invested billions of dollars in AI. They haven't figured out yet how they're going to monetize it, but it's coming. And so they are taking a large chunk of the landscape. So if you go out on Google right now, you can see, type in something about my HVAC is making some noise. And it'll show an AI overview at the top. Then it may show LSA at the top. Then the AI overview. Then it's going to show sponsored ads. Then it shows the map pack. Then it shows the SEO top websites. So they're calling it zero-click searches because Google is answering the questions before people ever go to a website. So it's going to become more and more important that if somebody were to do that and they typed in, and I advise you to go do that, is get on ChatGPT, get on Gemini and say, I'm having HVAC issues in my area, such and such city. Who do you recommend for repairs? And it'll give you the top 10, and you'll want to see if you're in that top 10. If not, this is some areas where we can improve. But some of the things that they're looking for is poor or few reviews. If you have no reviews, and especially not any recent reviews, you might as well be invisible in the AI search. So AI is looking for credibility, authority, trust, and recent reviews. And interestingly enough, that's exactly what Google is looking for too. They're just looking at it in a different way. They're just pulling from different sources. But it's really important that I actually heard, I was talking to somebody that does some software around all this, and he said, and this is, I can't get it verified anywhere, but it was interesting. He said, really, if Google weighs more heavily on the last 90 days than any other time. So if you haven't had any reviews in 90 days, Google basically is questioning whether you are even in business. And it's also wondering whether if you get bad reviews or only a few reviews, if you're just not doing a good job. So don't put any doubt in all of these algorithms' mind, because a strong reputation is going to give you top visibility in both SEO and AI driven searches. All right, so let's say you got some reviews. You want to make sure that you respond to them well. So your responses show the user, the client, and Google that you care. So Google actually measures whether you're responding to reviews or not. They want to make sure that if you think about like the Google business profile in your website is your asset. It is your real estate on the internet. And the Google business profile is Google's real estate. So it cares a lot about its own real estate. It wants to know that you're doing posts. It wants to know that you're doing reviews, that you're updating your hours of operation. All of those things tell Google that you are a real business who is going to take care of their clients. And they think anyone that searches for things is their client. So you want to make sure you have that Google business profile really dialed in, and make sure that when you get reviews, you respond to them. This is going to really help you look professional. It's going to help you with your SEO rankings, and it's also going to help you with Google, especially if you're running LSA ads. So the easiest thing to do is responding to positive reviews. Oh, it's easy to gush and be so glad. Some tips for that is, say thank you, personalize it, put their name in it, especially if you are a smaller business and it might say Mary Sharp, but her name might be Mary Grace. So you want to make sure you put it in there. Reference the experience that they made, mention the service or technician that they praised, reinforce your brand. We're so glad. For instance, we're so glad our maintenance team kept your system running smoothly this summer. And then invite them back. We look forward to helping you with your fall tune-up. Keep it short, keep it friendly, keep it authentic, and keep it different. Don't have a cookie cutter answer that you just cut and paste on every single person. It doesn't look good to a homeowner, and it certainly doesn't look good to Google. All right, here's the thing, and I've heard this a couple of times, responding to negative reviews. The key mindset is don't react, respond. This is really important because every business is going to get a bad review. And this is your opportunity to turn it into lemonade. I have one client, and he takes a lot of pride. He has, I don't even know, 400 or 500 reviews, and they're all 5 stars. He's gotten a couple of 1 stars, but in general, they are all 5 stars. And the reason they are 5 stars is if he gets a bad review, he will look that person up, figure out who it was, figure out what job it was. And he actually, as the owner, calls them and says, I just saw your negative review. I want to know what's going on. I want, humble yourself and make sure that you get their side of the story, and then say, you know what, we want to make this right. If I come out there and I get this fixed, would you be willing to change your review? and he has a set amount that he'll spend to get a right result, and they always change it to a 5-star. So that's one strategy that you can do. But let's say that you have somebody that, you know, they're crazy, because we get a lot of those crazy people. They're crazy. It's not going to matter if you go out there and make any changes, because they're still going to be unhappy or whatever the situation is. So what do you do on the digital web where everything is out there forever? Some things that we suggest is acknowledge their experience. Hey, we're sorry to hear your system wasn't cooling properly. Take responsibility where appropriate, avoid defensiveness. We're truly sorry to hear about it. We understand how frustrating it is. And we'd like to make this right. Now, on my slide, it says, please call our office. But I would probably say, we're going to reach out and talk to you. Please call our office, but we're going to reach out and talk to you as well. And then ask them for an updated review like we talked about, but stay professional. You're speaking to not just this person, but future customers. So just keep that in mind, because this is a part of your brand reputation. All right, some other pro tips for review responses. Make sure that you respond to every review. Yes, every single one. Even a simple thank you shows that you're engaged. Make sure you reply within 48 hours. This means that you are quick to communicate. Google uses that in their algorithm, and it also just shows, like, if you got a review a month ago and now you're just now responding to it, then it tells future customers that this is not very important to you. So you want to make sure you do it. Use your company voice, especially if you've hired, the intern in the summer to help. Make sure that it's not slangy unless you're slangy. Make sure that it's professional. Make sure it's a consistent tone. And you can use ChatGPT and some of those other tools out there to help you with those. In fact, I recommend it. Just make sure that it sounds like you. So one of the things that when we first started doing this, it was really important to use keywords in your review responses. But actually, just recently, Google has quit using our responses for keywords. It's mostly looking at the customer. If the customer, it's looking for customer review keywords, not so much client responses. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the main thing is, even if you get the negative experiences, just turn them into opportunities to show your professionalism and that you quickly resolve issues. All right, so I want to get into the next section, which is automating your review requests. Because as I said before, you're going to get it. You're going to get those 1 stars every now and then. But if all you're getting is the bad reviews and you're not getting the good reviews because your techs aren't asking, because the lady in the office is too busy to call and ask for it, you don't have an automated text or email system to do it, you're going to miss out. So I work with a lot of HVAC companies, and it's so interesting to see what the different ones do. Some use QR codes, and they tell their techs to, hey, have them take a picture of this with their phone, and so that we can get a review. And that's one thing that works. Another one that I've seen is that they were actually doing like a review contest. And so every time they would count up who got what reviews. It was kind of manual, every week they would report out to the techs. And they gave away things like firearm for 200 reviews. If they got like 500 reviews for the year, they would get a cruise for 3 days. It was just all kinds of different things. And that worked, and people were so excited about it. But what happened is, after the first year and a half, it started, slowing down, and only a few of the technicians would do it, not all the technicians. So we talked to the owners of that company. We were having our strategy session like we do every month, and I kept talking about, we've got to get this automated. We've got to get more reviews. And they finally said, okay, we're going to send a text to every single person that we do service on. And we decided, they decided as a company, if we get a bad review, we need to know that. We need to know about it. We need to be able to take care of it. And they told the techs, hey, this is going out automatically. So, if a tech were to get a bunch of bad reviews, there would be some talking to. So this is a probably a really important thing for you to know as you're running your company is you're going to want to know. You don't want some bad experiences to harm your pipeline of installs because it's going to be those repeated visits, and it only takes one visit to a home where somebody had a really bad experience for them to not call you back. So you want to automate these review requests. One of the things that I want to show you is something that we're doing with a client here in Montgomery, Alabama, Hands Heating and Air. So he has a CRM system, and we've worked with Service Titan, House Call Pro, Pazer, all kinds of different ones, Field Edge. It doesn't matter because what they're doing is if you have a CRM, you've got their phone number in there, and you just set it up to send this link. And we give you the link, and this is what it shows. And it's just a part of what we do with our clients. How is your experience with Hands Heating and Air? If they give them a 3 or less stars, if they give them 3 stars, 1 star, or 2 star, then it sends them to this next screen on their phone that says, sorry, you had a bad experience. Would you be willing to share a few details? So when they share those details and then they put their email, they hit send, it goes to the owner. It doesn't go to Google Business Profile. It goes to the owner. Now, on the flip side, if they give a 4 or a 5-star review, then it'll say, what did you like the most? Were they knowledgeable? Were they prompt? Were they friendly, reliable, or just everything? And then what did you like the most? And that person can choose they were prompt. So then what happens is our AI then goes in and says, would you be willing to leave a review on Google? And then it writes up a review that they can edit and use or not. So then they would click on it. It also sends them to their Google Business Profile to put the 4-star or the 5-star. They can paste this if they like, or they can write their own thing or not write anything. But what's so great about this is if they will use the paste stuff, and what we're finding is about 1 in 4 do it, the system that we use puts in the keywords that AI and that Google like to see. So it's creating those keywords because we can't teach a customer to put keywords in for us. So this system does it for you. And I'm sure there's some other systems out there, but this is our EM Connect that does this work for us. But the main thing that you want to make sure is that you're automating it and that you're getting the 5 stars. The second thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is on your website homepage, you want to make sure that your Google reviews are prominently displayed on your landing pages and on your homepages because people want to see recent reviews as social proof. You can use little snippets of this with their, because you can look up their Google Business Profile and find their photos, or you can pull it from Facebook, but you can use that, or you can just do, just a cutout that has 5, stars at the bottom, and it has written out what that person said. I recommend that you think about getting video testimonials because we can put those on Google Business Profiles. We can put them on YouTube channels. We can put them on your website. But the great thing about video testimonials is AI does read video now. And I have a client who has just recently started doing crawl space encapsulations and radon testing and mitigation. So that's a really interesting one because we are asking that a couple of the recent clients, hey, could you talk about this? Because it could help other families to make sure that they could stay away from the dangers of radon. And so just to talk about their experience, that is so powerful. That is more powerful than any ad I can create that says we do radon testing. So think about video testimonials. I have another client. They ground gas lines, make sure that they're grounded because during a lightning storm, they've had clients that if they didn't have it grounded, it actually made the gas from the lightning create a spark, and it blew through their drywall. So it's really dangerous. So if you have any kind of things like that, those are super impactful. But even if it's just a regular video testimonial, grab those up. If you've got especially a young tech, they all know how to use these phones. See if they'll do something real quick that you can put on social media. But It's not so much the quality of the video, but of the testimonial, of the review. It's the quality of what they say, because that's what's the most important, and because it's authentic. So think about those kinds of things for generating reviews. And just some key takeaways. Make sure that depending on your market, you're getting a good number of reviews. So again, we talked about for small markets, 2 to 300, mid-size is about 500, metro markets over 1,000. Because remember, when you're talking about private equity that have multiple locations, they're able to house all those reviews um, under one umbrella. So, and if you have multiple locations, you can use that technique as well. Make sure that you're automating it, but make sure you're also diversifying. And now it's time to start getting some of those Yelp reviews and some Facebook recommendations. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on Reddit. I think that's going to become a bigger deal than it used to be. And use those reviews as marketing assets. The main thing out of all of this is that you are building a reputation engine. And I believe you'll really see the benefits of that. And you'll be getting a lot of organic leads that will come in, leads that you don't have to necessarily pay for, because you've done a really good job of getting those reviews. I'm really surprised sometimes that I had this much to talk about review generation. But this is why it's so powerful, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and they're not. And I know you have a business to run. I know you have a business to grow. So if you need our help with this, we are happy to do that. Just want to wrap it up here and let you know I've got an amazing team of people here in Montgomery, Alabama that help businesses like yours. If you'd like to get a marketing and competitor analysis, it's something that we value at about $600, because it is so in depth, and it will look at your top 2 to 3 competitors and show how you rank up against them. So if you want to receive this complimentary, use our QR code. Go to exploreHVAC.com and sign up. All we ask is that you spend a few minutes with us and see if this is something that would provide an opportunity. If there's some things that you could be doing differently and we can help you with it, that you would give us a chance to talk to you about that. But even if you're not interested in that, but you just want to talk about your business a little while, give me a call, 334-525-5669. I'm Pam at exploremedia.com. We would love to help you, because we know you have a business to run.